Hey, good morning. Welcome, everybody, to the yet to be fully named Rhode Island Small Business Morning Show. My name is Ben Barber, and let me bring on the co-host, the host of the show. We're both co-hosts, Justin. Justin, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm tired. I had a late night last night. I got to actually hang out like a human being last night and not be subject to my bedroom or my office all day and night. So it felt good.
Very nice. I hit the wrong graphic, and now I'm mad at myself. Behind us because that's why I went full screen to begin with. Anyway, so let's talk about what we're doing today and then who our guest is and also cheers. Um uh so basically let's talk about who you are first. So you are the owner of Oceanside Graphics and also the creator and one of the main forces behind Rhode Island Small Business rismallbusiness.org. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what your mission has been during this whole COVID-19 situation so we can sort of introduce why we're doing this show in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started that back in March now, and it was a way for businesses to get initial relief during the pandemic before any of the loans came out. So before they could get PPP or EIDL, they were able to go on there, sign their business up, and register for consumers to go on and purchase gift cards that could help them with some initial funding. Um, for their business. We're still getting stuff pouring in. We're still getting between like 10 and 15 businesses coming in, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we're up to just over like 1,250 or close to 1,300 businesses now with the last batch of 30 going in. We've had about 3,000 visits to the site itself. So as far as people actually clicking on and purchasing gift cards, I think we're somewhere in like 400,000 views of the web page in the last few months. So that's pretty amazing in such a short time. But the site can't just stop now. We're tracking back into normal life. As you and I were just talking about, like how we're adapting to our new environment. And how do businesses continue on? How does a small business continue on that one-on-one relationship that a lot of them have with their customers? And how does a small business have a voice? And the rismallbusiness.org movement is how we're going to do that. Chris and I at True Homes Trailblaze Marketing have been working on countless hours, more so him lately. He's been taking the site to the next level. I have done the initial site, and Chris has been working on our like 2.0 launch. And I was just reviewing that with him before we jumped on, and it looks awesome. That's going to be the voice of Rhode Island. So small businesses are going to have a chance to get on there, sign themselves up to be part of this, coalition and movement that we're trying to push forward, so that every small business has a voice for a change. It's hard for any of us as a small business to make a change or have a direct line to the lieutenant governor's office, which Andrea will come on in a little bit and talk a little bit on that. But it's a way for us to come together and have a voice, almost like an old school union. It's just not a union. So, it's a good thing to be a part of. There we go. I was happy to, be able to facilitate that and get it going. And I'm excited to see how we move it forward and, and where it goes from here.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen a preview a couple weeks ago of the 2.0 site, and I'm sure it's gotten even better since then. So I'm really excited to see that. When do you think the launch will be?
I think Chris and I were hoping that we would launch it, I think this week or maybe early next week. I think it's like 99% done. We're going to try to get together as a team a little bit later today just to iron out a few little things that are on there. And I mean, it's pretty much ready to launch right now. I just went through all the tabs and everything, and they all look good. Everything looks great. I just got to get Andrea to write me a good about us bio because I'm not a writer, and and we'll be ready to go.
Awesome. Well, speaking of our first guest on the show, she is the you know what? I'm not even going to introduce her. I'm just going to let her come on and introduce herself. Hey, Andrea.
I was ready for that Ben Barber introduction, but hi guys.
All right, fine. Andrea, how do you pronounce your last name? I've never had to say it out loud.
Well, this is very awkward considering how much we've talked over the last 2 months. It's Andrea Pelagi.
Pelagi. All right, I would have been right. To be fair, I didn't say Justin's last name either, which I believe
don't
is got.
his last name either.
Which I believe is Gonteric.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. That's spot on, buddy.
Listen, if I pride myself on one thing, it's being able to pronounce random last names. So Andrea is the director of communications for the Lieutenant Governor's office under Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. She's been instrumental in setting up these small business virtual town halls. The Wednesday night sort of like a fireside chat show virtually, which has been really awesome, and everything else that I don't even know about because you guys are incredibly busy right now. But the Lieutenant Governor's office has been really dedicated, throughout his terms, and not just during the COVID-19 crisis, but specifically right now, to be the voice of small businesses and to help small businesses survive this. So what has that been like to be in the trenches with that and trying to manage so many things, and what have you guys been doing at the LG's office?
Yeah, great. That was a beautiful introduction. Ben, you're hired from now on. Anytime I speak, even in conversation, I'd like you to give that.
That's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine.
So before I kind of get into that, I noticed you guys did like a little coffee cup cheers. I will do mine and note that I'm supporting a small business, Seven Stars Bakery on Broadway, and also on Fifth Street in Providence. So I got you there. But yeah, so I've been with the Lieutenant Governor's office now about 3.5, going on about 4 years. And I think one of the things, the most interesting things about this office is the work that it does for small businesses and the way it kind of carves that work out by itself, right? So I don't know, many people might not know the Lieutenant Governor, they might not know his backstory, but he is a small business owner his whole life. He owned a small real estate company out of college, he owned a health club in Woonsocket for many years, and now his family owns a small heating and oil company in Cumberland, where I also live. So I think that's an interesting storyline for any elected official, and it definitely shapes, the work of this office. And I think for me, that was really interesting because even though I'm the communications director, I have my hand, as does everybody else in our office, in a little bit of everything. We're only a team of 7. It's small but mighty. But for me personally, my family, I think we were talking about this at some point, my family has been involved in small business too. For anybody from the northern part of the state, Blackstone Valley area, probably knows Pelagi's Ice Cream. It's a local family-owned ice cream truck company in business for over 100 years. So I grew up kind of seeing that, spending a lot of time at my grandfather's house, kind of seeing him working the trucks and, getting the free ice cream, which made me very popular. But having that background and then coming into the Lieutenant Governor's office with his small business background really kind of I was excited. I was excited because I saw, the stuff we're doing in the office isn't necessarily all big picture, big policy. It's this kind of boots on the ground, helping small businesses with even the littlest things. So, we like to say in the office, when it comes to a small business issue, we think it's too small. We just tell ourselves, little things make big things happen. So that's been our motto. We deal with everything from helping businesses with, their local DOT road closures. I know we had one of those earlier this week. Even during the pandemic, that's something that still is, impacting businesses. We might do something as small as helping a business with a letter of good standing. It might not be our lane. Some people say, well, what's your lane for small businesses? Isn't there another agency that would help a business with that? And we say, absolutely. But we're there to be that support. We understand the story of a small business, and we know sometimes they don't know where to go. They don't, or they're not having luck in the avenue they're getting. So we try to be that, one-stop shop for getting them to the right place, no matter how small the issue is. So, the things we get involved with, you never know what it's going to be. Like a couple years ago, and this maybe will lead us into a conversation about what we're all working on now, but a couple years ago, we ended up working with Rhode Island brewers to help eliminate the keg tax, which is something I never knew existed. I didn't know anything about, but we met with these local brewers and we found it was something that didn't exist in other New England states, and we kind of used our office as a way to convene the brewers, to organize. We definitely do a lot of that with small businesses. So we got them together and we were able to kind of advocate and organize, and that tax is no more. So it's kind of this eclectic mix of small business issues we take, but we do take them all. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Oh, man.
I got a question for you. Like, you've heard so many of our stories on different businesses and everything. Let's hear your story for a change. And I'm gonna flip that to you because we didn't talk about that. But
This guy, me?
yeah, let's hear your story. How did your business? You've been a huge voice in all of this for the last 3 months, and I don't think anybody really knows much about little Ben Barber.
I mean, that is by design. It's by design because, like, so all right, you know what? But I will go into the story quickly. But last Friday, before the small business virtual town hall, it was just me and Director Hayward from the SBA for a minute, backstage before everything started, and there was a question that somebody asked during the Wednesday night show, which does not have the directors on, and is less of a Q&A format. And they asked a question and they were really hammering it in the comments. And I did the thing that, may be foolish, sometimes maybe not, where I was like, I'm going to help you. I will get you. I went into the comments and I was like, I will get your question answered by the people that can answer it. I will do this. I will ask the question straight to the director to start off the show on Friday. So I did, and before the show started, I asked him about it, and then I was like, this is weird. This is weird that I am having conversations with the lieutenant governor is a friend of mine now, and I call Mark and Matt, and they're like, hey, please don't say director. That's enough of that. We've been doing this like 13 times now. And I was like, so, that's cool. And he was like, I was a mayor when I was 21 for 2 terms, and then I was appointed to the White House by Ronald Reagan, and now I'm the head of the SBA for Rhode Island. And I was like, that's amazing. It's really weird that I'm talking to you. And he goes, no, it's not, because we're all just people trying to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool perspective. Who am I? That's a good question. When I was 17, I started a production company with my best friend, Dave DeAngelis, who's the D in DNB. And we started a community theater. We were both in high school together and loved theater, and I wanted to direct, and he was an actor. And his dad ran the Westerly High School theater program for 35 years. So I asked him to help me learn how to get a show and book it and do everything the right way. So that their family kind of taught me everything. And then he went to school for audio visual at New England Tech, and we transitioned into podcasts. So we've been doing that. We have clients, all over the country and internationally. And then I started working also with the MBA, the Mesquamacut Business Association, and developed a relationship with Caswell Cook, who's a town councilor here in Westerly, who's a friend of the lieutenant governor. And basically, Caswell went live every night the first week of the pandemic to sort of give updates in Westerly because no other town official was doing it. And then he was like, I can get the lieutenant governor on to answer your questions, but I don't know how. So he called me and asked me how, and I figured it out. And then he decided, without asking me, that we were going to do that every single night of the week. And by the 4th night, so I used Zoom. I've used Zoom for years for the clients. Like, I can't record a podcast with someone in Canada in person. So I've been using Zoom to record for years, and but I didn't know how to do all the graphics and stuff, not in post-production. So this is all new to me as well. What was very interesting is that even before I knew how to do this, people like Andrea were texting me like, hey, can you help with this question that we have about getting 500 people on a Zoom call? And I was just walking around my house going, why are these people asking me these questions? I don't like. I can help. I just don't know why I'm the person that's helping. There has to be somebody better at this than I am. And that didn't seem to be the case. So everybody kept asking, and now we're doing, I think I can officially announce this. Like I'm doing the Washington County Fair this year. So the fair unfortunately won't be happening, the way that it should be, but it will be virtually, and we're doing that whole festival. So we'll be, streaming the live concerts every night and and we're working with all of the small businesses that have booths, and all of the vendors to try to get them as much publicity as possible and to set up links so that people can go directly to their stores and buy the things, because a lot of these festivals that we're missing, and as you guys know, because let's talk about the Craft Brew Fest in a second, a lot of these vendors are missing their biggest marketing opportunity of the year with these large festivals that aren't happening this summer. So it's actually very rewarding. Like, I'm from Richmond originally, and it's like I consider it an honor to be able to help all of those businesses with the fair this year. So that's who I am.
I need to interrupt you there for a second, because let me tell you, I just hope that people know, if they tune in to one of the Lieutenant Governor's broadcasts that you assist with, whether it's like you said, the Tuesday small business calls or the Wednesday night kind of fun, fireside chats, that connection that our office is able to have with small businesses leads to us helping businesses, whether it's a DLT issue with unemployment. I mean, all these little things, none of that happens without you, Ben. And I hope people know that. So it's not just, you're not just a tech guy behind the scenes. You're really right here with us, kind of shoulder to shoulder, helping small businesses. And, our office is so grateful to have you, working with you and Justin. And I know we mentioned Chris from Trailblaze Marketing, and Lori from Visual Thrive. It's great for people who, may not know anything about this. We've created this little volunteer team of small business folks, besides me. I don't have a business yet, but maybe someday. But it's been a privilege for me to work with you guys, and none of the work that the Lieutenant Governor's office is doing right now would be of the quality or the reach without you guys. And it's a huge help. So anybody who's watching at home, these guys up here, or I think they're up here on your screen, hopefully, they're the real heroes. So thank you guys.
I always feel like this is like the Brady Bunch entrance every time I'm on one of these things, and I still haven't got past that. Like I just want to I feel like we should have a basketball or something. We should be throwing from screen to screen. And
I did that actually. So because we've been doing the Zoom thing, so we've had for years. So before any of this started, when we were doing introducing this new book from one of our clients, which I'm not advertising, so I'm going to put it down. But you know what? I'll do this. We were we all had books. All three of us had books. So I was like, Justin, here. And then the other person grabbed it and took it into frame and put it. Yeah. I love it. I love messing with all of this stuff. Oh, hey, Caswell. Hi, people. Hey, Kaz.
Hi, Kaz.
People hear enough from him. So yeah, it's been a really cool opportunity, and let's talk about the Newport Craft Brew Fest. What I don't even know. I know that I'm doing it. I know that I'm producing it, but I have no idea other than Justin commenting on live streams that I'm doing, asking to book bands. I don't. And Andrea texting me, telling me that I'm doing it. I don't know what is going on with this. So if you guys could let me know some more about this. And Lori, we love Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Good morning, Lori. And yes, I will call you back later, I promise.
So Andrea, explain the Craft Brew Fest for everybody.
Yeah, so I'll give a little intro, and then I'll kick it over to Justin, because he is really leading the charge on this. And I think I don't know if it's because he really wants to help small businesses or more because he really likes beer. So that's up for debate. But so I mentioned that, the Lieutenant Governor kind of has this previous relationship with some of the local brewers. We've worked a lot on this keg tax issue, which was a heavy lift, but really mattered to the brewers. So Justin came to us because he's been working with our office, like we said, on this rismallbusiness.org website. And he came to us and kind of said, hey, I've been talking to some of the brewers, and the Newport Craft Beer Festival, which for anyone who's ever been, I mean, that is a really fantastic event that the Rhode Island Brewers Guild puts on every year. Over in Newport, they have hundreds and hundreds of people that attend. They have testing tables where brewers can do demos. They sell tickets. They raise a good amount of money for our local brewer community. And it's a real, and Rhode Islanders love it. So there are people that have been to, every Brewers Fest since it started. So it's a real community and a real great event for these local brewers. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, like many events, like you just said with the Washington County Fair, it just can't happen. So Justin kind of came to us and said, hey, do you think this is an idea we could, kick around with our rismallbusiness.org team and try to help these brewers to put on a virtual event? And of course we said yes. I mean, brewers are small businesses. I think there's now like 30 in the state, and I think it's about 30. So whatever we can do to help them out, we're going to do. So Justin, do you want to talk a little bit about what the event is going to look like this year and where we are and how close we are to launching?
Yeah, absolutely. So the event is going to be, it's June 27th. So we've started sort of that initial marketing, and I have to give Lori and her team some props on that. She's really taken the charge on the social media aspect of, that's where her business concentrates a lot in. So we kind of pushed all that off onto her and, kind of let her lead the charge and go from there. And that was a huge lift, I think, off of everybody's shoulders. So thank you again for that. So again, the event is going to be June 27th. And what we're going to do is get a lot of local performers. So we're going to have some local artists come on, do some sets, and bring the brewers in to still get that one-on-one experience. One of the things that the Brewfest was very well known for was, it was a, say, 2 or 3 day event. One thing that you could buy tickets for was sort of a one-on-one with the actual brewers themselves and the breweries to see, how they made the beer, why they chose those things, what those things could be paired with. And they were going to lose all of that naturally because, we're losing that social aspect of life. And one way to do that was let's do it virtually. So I think pretty much after each performer and host, we're going to bring in those breweries that are participating in the event to come on and talk about their brew, which we're kind of labeling like this essential hope beer. So each brewery that's participating will have their own brew. So that brew will that you would taste as a consumer will just depend on where you pick it up. So you'll be able to go on. There's a couple different packages, so you could buy a 4-pack of beer and like a swag bag. You'd be able to get like the beer in a t-shirt or just the beers, however you choose. And you'd pick it up at the local craft brewery that's closest to you. Most of all the brewery cans will look something like this. So we will have a nice Hope can. And it's just a little bit, so this one has line cider on it, and it just talks about how we really got started with this. The proceeds are going to benefit the Brewers Guild, and why we're doing what we're doing. The can itself, it says, only in darkness you can see the stars, which was, I think, a quote from like Martin Luther King, and they really just like hit home with everything that we're doing right now. To start this event. So hopefully they can still get some great participation. Everyone can sit at home with some friends, and hopefully by the time the event kicks off, we can have, your 15 friends now. So you'll be able to actually enjoy this event like you would if you were there. And I think it'll be a little bit more personal because you'll be able to get to ask maybe some of those one-on-one questions through Ben that maybe you didn't have the chance to, or you were too shy to. I think that's the other good part of all of this is, you're seeing a lot of people come out of their shell a little bit. Like me, I was never one to do these kind of big things. And it's been a lot of fun to, take all those resources, put them together, help a great group of people. We have our shirt that will be hosting out. So this will be the shirt. It's kind of hard, color screen. So it just says, that it's the, the hope. And I think that's really where we're taking everything this year is with, that hope theme. It's on the state flag, and it's a big part of our community. And I think right now is really shows everybody who we are and what we're about. So we hope that event kicks off pretty good. There's my business partner, Nick. He's going into his madhouse, which is the back room. So he's the brains of our actual operations. I just do this stuff to make it seem like I know what I'm doing.
Same.
Yeah, that's a little bit about that event, and we got off on a little tangent there quickly, but yeah, so the event should be pretty fun. I know we have a couple performers lined up. Ben is going to host it unofficially right now, and he's officially going to accept that hosting, for some of it to help us through.
Cool. Sure.
So, yeah, so I think it's a great pool of people and a great group of resources, and it's an event that we're happy to donate some time to, and hopefully get these guys some money.
Yeah, that's incredible, and I think that I really am loving the fact that we're able to sort of recreate, and not only recreate but build something new, build a new avenue for businesses to do this stuff, because 2021 the Newport Craft Beer Fest will be back. We'll get this all taken care of eventually, and we will move on, and we will be able to be in person again someday. But if we can take this opportunity as small business owners, in any market, whatever you do, whatever way that works for you, if you can take a moment to find a way to be creative and figure out how to, and I'm sure that Lori would be able to speak to this, and Chris, because and Andrea, because she works in communications, the amount of reach that you can get on social media through video, through earnestly talking to your to people, I don't even want to say your customers, your potential customers, your market, your demographic, any of that. What you can do by earnestly sharing with people and by using the tools and the technology that is available will help you now and will help you post-pandemic. If people implement the things that they've been forced to do now, I always talk about some of the fun stuff that I've seen, like the Malted Barley putting trivia on their takeout on Tuesday nights because it was what they did. So they have a trivia question for everybody. Or this restaurant, Elena's, who did a bingo night every Wednesday. All of their takeout came with a bingo card. And then they would do a Facebook Live afterwards. After they closed at 8, they would do a Facebook Live at 9, and everybody who ordered takeout could play and order bingo and win prizes. Those are some really fun, creative ideas. And I know that I saw Lori on her Facebook page on Visual Thrive talk about this. The behind the scenes stuff is more fun for people, than just posting your daily specials. If you're a restaurant or whatever your sale is of the day. Building a relationship with people is what's important. And I think that the main thing that will be beneficial for businesses for years and years and years to come in perpetuity is that this has forced us to learn how to build a relationship with people when we can't sell them things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like the connections I've made with people in a connectionless environment right now has been amazing. Let me just shut my door. Speaking of customers actually coming in, we have like one of our first customers in a long time coming in to talk about boat graphics. But yeah, like the connections we've made with people. I mean, like 3 of us and Chris and Lori and I feel like all of these people that I've met that are people, not just business owners, but people, I've been able to like laugh and have a good time with it over the last few weeks, when it should be not a sad time, but like not a time to have fun. And I feel like I've had probably the most fun in my business, and I think personally that I've had in a very long time. Some days were very stressful, and Andrea and I would text each other at 10 o'clock at night, like, oh my God, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Like, we're so overwhelmed. But at the same time, there's another connection. Like we've become, pretty close friends, I think, at this point. And, that wouldn't have happened, I think, if, this didn't happen. So in some weird way, I feel like it was nature's way to say, we're people, get back outside, ride a bike with your kids. And, we took our kids the other night to a little hidden beach and we did a picnic. And I feel like that's not a normal thing we would have done. We would have just been like, whatever, let's just get some takeout or cook some dinner and have dinner at home. But, it's just forcing us all to be outside and connecting, like you said, with people that we don't realize are a public official, have been appointed by the White House. We're getting some unique opportunities to be people with people that I think if we saw in a normal setting, we'd be like nervous to be with. So, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And I don't think any of us thought, a few months ago that we would be launching these, statewide small business initiatives and, that are being advertised on, on Cox Cable with commercials. Thank you, for rismallbusiness.org, doing all this stuff with a group of people that we've never even met. You've always been, brought up saying, no, don't, be careful who you meet online. If you don't want to, be very careful. But this is a whole new spin on that. I mean, we've been able to come together virtually without ever having met each other in real life, and really been able to provide this public service for businesses and even just for, other Rhode Islanders throughout this whole pandemic. And, I continue to think it's just so funny that, whether it's you, Ben, or Justin, or other, team members, Chris and Lori, none of us knew each other before this, and we still have never met, but we continue to kind of do this work, and it's really bizarre. It's, you've been strangers, and, hopefully when this pandemic is over, we all finally get to meet.
Yeah. There's a ton of bad things that have happened in the last 2 months, and there's a lot of work to be done to help get through that. But if for a moment everybody can focus on the fact that the one thing we all got was time, and time is a gift, I think that that's really important. And the friendships are just incredible. Lori said a couple minutes ago, and I really want to point this out, not the end part, but yes, so many companies are using digital tech to grow. Social media has been supercharged. And yeah, Lori at Visual Thrive focuses on great social media, and they're wonderful at it. So we just want to, we want to highlight small businesses. So if you have a small business, that is the goal of the Lieutenant Governor's office. That is the goal of Justin at Oceanside Graphics and the team at rismallbusiness.org. That's what we all want to do, and that's what this show is going to be about. If you have a better name idea for the show, please leave it in the comments, because we're trying to think of one. And naming new names will be the thing of the week this week, right, Andrea?
Yeah, we've got a few new names we're working on too. So
yeah. But this will be happening, and we're going to. We want to talk to you. So I'm looking directly in the camera now, not at Justin or Andrea. If you have a small business that you want to publicize, and you want to talk about how you've been navigating the waters of this pandemic, or you just want to talk about your small business in general, if you want to do a live demonstration, anything that you want to do, send us a message. Send a message to me or Justin, or if you have to, you can't figure out how to get a hold of us, bother Andrea at the Lieutenant Governor's office, and she'll put you in touch. And we want to help you, and we want to put you on this show and send it out to as many people as possible, because you're really important, no matter what it is that you do. All right, I'm off of the soapbox. Go ahead, guys.
That was beautiful, Ben. I don't know. I'm really touched.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that was like the good 30-minute end mark. That was like the end speech right there. We gotta mic drop it right now.
All right, we're gonna mic drop it. Let everybody know where they can find your stuff, Andrea. I mean, if you want to just promote the Lieutenant Governor stuff or your own, whatever you want to do, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I mean, I would give the same kind of pitch the Lieutenant Governor always gives when he signs off. I learned from the masters. So if you're a small business owner and you were listening to this and saying, oh yeah, I could kind of use a help on, X, Y, and Z, and I don't know where to turn to the Lieutenant Governor's office. I'm here right now. I've actually commandeered his office for the moment. we're answering the phones, so feel free to give us a call at 222-2371. If you'd rather send us an email, you can just Google Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. Go to our website, you'll find my email address. Public office, very easy to hunt down, and we're here for you, so just reach out no matter what the issue is, and we'll try to help.
Justin?
Yeah, so our website, it's oceansidegraphicsri.com. We're really trying to help a lot of businesses right now with their social distancing plans. Reach out. We're doing a lot of free consultations for that. We're giving a lot of the stuff away because we have it, and we just want to help. I know everyone keeps saying, well, you've done enough, but we can't do enough. We can't survive without your business. You can email myself. It's justin@oceansidegraphicsri.com. And hopefully we can help and get you on the right way. And, this team of great people is just going to continue to do more great.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, Justin?
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with somebody else. It could be you. Message us. All right. Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys.